On January 29, 2026, Manila woke to a headline that electrified the nation. The Philippines had drawn its own lines on the sea. Jeepneys rumbled down EDSA, but the real buzz was online and in coffee shops. Everyone was talking about the new Philippine Maritime Zones Act. The law, and its bold new map, was a declaration: the West Philippine Sea is ours. Social media exploded with pride and unity, as hashtags like Yatinang West Philippine Sea trended nationwide. In Palawan, fishing communities listened to the news with hope. Finally, a promise of protection for their livelihoods. This wasn't just politics, it was personal. The new map was a stand against years of intimidation, a reaffirmation of national identity. Lawmakers explained this was not aggression, but defense, anchored in international law and UNCLOS. For too long, the narrative was shaped by foreign claims. Now the Philippines was telling its own story. Across the archipelago, cautious optimism grew. For coastal communities, the law was more than a headline, it was a lifeline. The day Manila drew its new map, the nation stood taller, united by a vision of sovereignty and hope. The world watched as the Philippines claimed its place on the map, not just with lines, but with conviction. This was the dawn of a new chapter, where the sea defined not just territory, but the Filipino spirit. The West Philippine Sea is more than water, it's the lifeblood of the Filipino people. For generations, fishermen have relied on its bounty, feeding families and fueling the nation's food security. Beneath its waves lie untapped reserves of oil and gas, keys to energy independence and economic growth. The Malampaya gas field already powers Luzon, and the promise of more could transform the nation's future. But the sea is also cultural, a source of stories, songs, and a deep sense of belonging. Atin ang West Philippine Sea is not just a slogan, it's a declaration of stewardship and heritage. Defending these waters means protecting a way of life that has endured for centuries. The ongoing disputes are personal, threatening livelihoods, identity, and the nation's soul. When foreign ships intrude, it's not just policy at stake, it's the heart of the Philippines. To protect the sea is to preserve the Filipino spirit for generations to come. Every day, a David versus Goliath struggle plays out in the West Philippine Sea. Filipino fishermen in wooden bangkas face off against massive Chinese Coast Guard and militia ships. The encounters are rarely fair. Chinese vessels use water cannons, blockades, and intimidation to drive Filipinos from their own waters. These aren't isolated incidents. They're a pattern of harassment, turning fishing into an act of courage. Even the Philippine Coast Guard faces dangerous obstruction while resupplying outposts, like the BRP Sierra Madre. Videos show Chinese ships performing risky maneuvers, trying to enforce claims with force, not law. The Philippines responds with professionalism, insisting on peaceful resolution and adherence to international law. China's strategy is to create facts on the water, hoping might will override right, but every day Filipinos stand firm, defending their rights with law and resilience. The battle is unequal, but the spirit of the Philippines endures. At the heart of the conflict is China's infamous 9-dash line, a sweeping U-shaped claim over nearly the entire South China Sea. First drawn in 1947, the line encloses islands, reefs, and vast waters, overlapping the maritime zones of the Philippines and other neighbors. The problem? The 9-dash line is ambiguous. China never defined its exact coordinates or legal meaning. It's a claim based on vague historical rights, not recognized by modern law or evidence. In 2013, China even added a 10th dash, expanding its claim further and raising tensions. Under international law, historical fishing does not equal sovereignty over open sea. The 9-dash line justifies China's island building, Coast Guard patrols, and harassment of other nations' vessels. It's a unilateral claim that ignores the rights of neighbors and the rules of the global community. The world sees it for what it is, an attempt to replace law with power. That's why the Philippines and many others reject it outright. The 9-dash line is a line drawn in water, not in law. The world's rulebook for the oceans is UNCLOS, the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Both the Philippines and China signed it, agreeing to clear rules for maritime zones. UNCLOS grants countries a 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone, EEZ, from their coasts, with exclusive rights to resources. China's 9-dash line cuts deep into the Philippines' EEZ, violating these rights. UNCLOS does not recognize historical rights as a basis for claiming the sea. An international tribunal in 2016 ruled the 9-line has no legal basis. When Chinese vessels block Filipino fishermen or oil exploration, they violate UNCLOS and the Philippines' sovereign rights. The law is clear. The Philippines alone has rights to resources in its EEZ. China's actions are an attempt to ignore the treaty it signed. UNCLOS stands for a rules-based order. The 9-line stands in defiance of it. The Philippines' strongest historical evidence is the 1734 Murillo Velarde map. Created by Spanish priest Pedro Murillo Velarde and Filipino artists, it's the mother of all Philippine maps. The map clearly marks islands like Scarborough Shoal as part of the Philippines, centuries before China's 9-line. Crucially, the map shows the South China Sea as open water, with no Chinese claim. If China truly had ancient sovereignty, it would appear on this internationally recognized map. But it doesn't. The map was a key exhibit in the Philippines case at The Hague, countering China's historical narrative. It's a silent witness from the past, grounding the Philippines' claim in both law and history. The Murillo Velarde map stands as proof that the Philippines' connection to these waters is centuries old. In 2013, the Philippines took China to court at The Hague, not to claim islands, but to clarify rights under UNCLOS. The tribunal ruled overwhelmingly for the Philippines. China's 9-line has no legal basis. The court confirmed the Philippines' EEZ and declared China's interference unlawful. It also ruled that artificial islands grant no new rights, and that traditional fishing grounds like Scarborough Shoal belong to all. China rejected the ruling, but it is final and binding under international law. The award transformed a political dispute into a settled legal fact. The Philippines now has a solid legal foundation to defend its rights and rally global support. The ruling is not just a victory for one nation, but for the principle of law over force. It's a beacon for all who believe in a rules-based order at sea. Building on the Hague victory, the Philippines passed the Maritime Zones Act, turning international law into national law. The act defines the country's maritime zones, from internal waters to the EEZ, all in line with UNCLOS. Its official map is a direct answer to China's 9-line. Precise, legal, and recognized worldwide. The law gives agencies like the Coast Guard a clear mandate to protect resources and people. It's not aggression, but a peaceful assertion of sovereignty and good governance. The act aligns domestic law with international rights, drawing a line based on law, not force. It signals to the world: the Philippines will define its territory by rules, not by another nation's claims. The Maritime Zones Act is a testament to the Philippines' commitment to peace and the rule of law. It's a new chapter in the nation's defense of its seas. The West Philippine Sea dispute is a clash of two stories. The Philippine story is built on evidence, international law, and the 2016 Hague ruling. It's supported by history, the Murillo Velarde map, and by a transparent, verifiable claim. The new Maritime Zones Act draws clear, legal lines, rooted in UNCLOS. The Philippine approach is about rules, diplomacy, and peaceful defense of rights. China's story is based on vague historical rights and the ambiguous 9-line. China offers ancient texts and artifacts, but no legal foundation. The contrast is stark law versus myth, clarity versus ambiguity. The Philippines stands on a binding legal victory. China stands on a claim the world rejects. In the end, this is a contest between a future where rules matter and a past where might made right. The Philippines is fighting for a world where law, not power, defines the map.